Germany are at it again, because for 20 points in a spring of Series 35 you can go ahead and grab yourself the Porsche Turbo Taycan Cross Turismo from 2023. A car with a very long name. So from stock this thing makes 750 brake horsepower, 774 foot-pounds of torque, but it weighs a whopping 5,200 pounds and it's also electric. I know, what a shame. Anyway, taking a look at this thing, the front looks exactly like the regular Porsche Taycan Turbo S, but as soon as we get to the side, you'll realise something's a little bit different. And then we go to the back, which looks practically the same, but this thing is a little bit of an estate car or station wagon if you're from the US. So moving to the interior, we've got a few screens down here, we've got some gauges in front of us and also another little gauge over there as well, and also something else that has just flown past at I don't know how many miles an hour. But let's go ahead and now take a listen to the Taycan Turbo Kettle. So here we are now in the upgrade shop and we're going to jump straight to a motor and battery to start with to see what we can get out of this thing. We can go from 750 all the way up to 975 just on the stock motor and battery. Now one cool thing that I've noticed is if you go back over to here we've got conversion, and that means we can go ahead and swap two different motors into this thing. We have got the 670 brake horsepower race motor and also the Rimac motor. That's 1,900 brake horsepower in this thing. That, oh dear, this is going to be interesting. As for aero, now we did have a lot of cool aero on the car last week, but for this week we only have got ourselves just Forza aero for the front, and then going to the back, it's probably going to be, yep, the Forza wing has made a return this week. Ah well, we nearly got there. In the meantime, our resident mechanic Mac is back once more with a brand new tune for us. This time it is up into S1, so let's go ahead and bring up the share code real quick. Hopefully we should see any second. There it is, there is our share code for the first tune of the video. Now let's go ahead and give it a download. So with those upgrades installed, we're now at £4,231 with 1,147 brake horsepower for 121,000 credits. This could get really interesting. And so after what felt like an absolute eternity of just waiting for this thing to load, we've now got over to the paint shop. So going to advanced, there is nothing waiting for us, but going to manufacturer colours, we've got quite a few. We have got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colours for this thing, and to be quite honest, I really like that shade of blue. Well, that's awkward. Well, I've just gone to try and select the race, and now it is taking absolute age to load, so I might need to restart a couple things. So, one restart later, now we're finally loading into the race. It only took me in real life an entire another hour. But yeah, in the meantime, if you're wondering how many of these things have been sold across the entire Taycan Turbo S range, including this, then the answer to that is more than 136,000. Although to be fair, I've only seen about 3 in person. And away we go. Let's go ahead and see what this 1,000 brake horsepower machine can do. Hopefully it might do well, although at the same time it's electric, so I'm kind of hoping it isn't, just so it can prove my point of electric vehicles are a bit eh. But then again, this has also had the Mac tuning treatment, so it might also get its way to first place. I mean, to be fair, out of that first corner, we're currently up in third already, so, you know, we're doing pretty decent. Although, apparently our limiting factor is top speed, and not that Mercedes. Now, if you ever want one of these, that BMW just been... Oh my god, that's a massive crash. Well, glad I'm over here. Anyway, if you wanted one of these at time of purchase, you'd have to be prepared to wait anywhere from 6 to 9 months to pick up one of these things for yourself. And they're not cheap either, because these things can range from $103,000 US all the way to $198,000. By the way, in case you're wondering what the price range that is for pounds sterling, for us Brits here, I've put that up on screen. In the meantime, this thing turns relatively kind of semi-okay, but it's also very understeery, which I was warned about before driving this thing, that this tune is indeed understeery. But, okay, I didn't think it'd be that understeery. In the meantime, this series has had 3 brand new EVs in it, and this is the last one of the series, so go ahead and let me know what's been your favourite car of the series, including the non-EVs as well, including like the Yaris and the Mustang. I'm kind of intrigued. In the meantime, across the line we go. Somehow we've managed to survive an entire race in an electric vehicle and got a first place with a time of 1 minute 53. So after that very interesting little bout of absolute sheer chaos, we're now back over in the upgrade shop. Now usually at this point I'd go ahead and just apply some upgrades myself, but once again our wonderful little local mechanic has decided to go ahead and bring us a tune which is called Wheelie Cool for one reason, and I think we all know what that reason is. In case you're wondering, this is the share code for it, so let's go ahead and give it a download. So with those upgrades applied, we're now sat at £4,219 with nearly 1,900 brake horsepower and all that for 121,000. Okay, here here we are now back over at the edge of the festival. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a little bit of a wheelie check out of this thing. And actually, we kind of do. That's cool. Man, I wish I had that many credits. Anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and just line up over the edge of the drag strip on launch control, and away we go with the Taycan Turbo S Station Wagon, or Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo to give it its proper name. There we go. I finally remember what it was. Let's go ahead and see what do we get through the camera. 219, and across the edge of the runway we are stuck at a solid 228 and 0 brakes like normal. And out of interest, in reverse this thing only does about 113. Okay, back to the festival. Well, now it's our turn to have a little bit of fun with this absolute chaos machine. We're starting off with the Rimac Nevera motor, and now we're going to go ahead and see what else we can do to it. We've got the option to go ahead and put it onto race springs and dampers, which we are definitely going to do, and we're also going to try and make this thing lighter, although I don't think it's going to get much lighter than probably about where it is at the moment at around 4,200. But I mean, hey, I can dream, right? And going over to drivetrain, there's no option this time to put in the 4-speed drift box, which I was kind of hoping you would be able to do, but I guess Forza have said no. Okay, there we are, fully built, and now I've just got to go and tune this thing. And now, going over to gear tuning is going to be very, very interesting, because this thing, at long last, we have an EV that has more than one gear. It's got 2. Oh, and then there's all the rest as well, but we'll come back to that in a bit. In the meantime, let's go ahead and throw a new paint on it, shall we? You don't want to know how many times I tried that sentence. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's Forzathon shop. For 700 points, we got the Cupra Urban Rebel, which is an absolute sheer chaos machine. We also got ourselves some gold leather boots for the feet, the Cuckoo car horn, which sounds a bit like this. Interesting. We've also got ourselves the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, or Super Veloce, depending on how you want to say it. We have the Macarena Emote, the Horizon Super Wheel Spin, and the regular Horizon Wheel Spin. And now, out to the motorway we go. Okay, once again we are fast travelling back to the motorway, so hopefully we're going to try and see how close we are to that little sort of lineup grate. Let's see, are we close to it? Well, kind of not. I don't know. In the meantime, we are now lined up at the edge of the motorway, so let's go ahead, get ourselves on some launch control, and away we go with the very, just appalling launch, but oh well. Let's go ahead and see what top speed we can get out of this thing, which is going to be immense considering we're in first gear, nope, now we're in second gear, and now we just hit 200. To say this thing's speedy is kind of an understatement. And out of the speed zone we go at 278.19 miles an hour, which is honestly absolutely nuts. We are now holding a solid 280 or 281, okay, car, prove me wrong. But now we've got the downhill and speed cameras to go, so let's get going. Or rather, let's keep going. And through the camber we go at 281.90 miles an hour, going downhill 284. Do we get 285? Not really, no, we just get 284, which out of this thing is absolutely insane. But still, there's one more thing to do, and if you've seen these videos, I think you know where this is going. And as ever, the answer is we are going to go very sideways indeed. Now the interesting thing about this car is rather, I can clutch kick this thing, because it's got 2 gears, which is honestly interesting and very concerning. In the meantime, that was 38,786 points, so now let's go ahead, line up for round 2, and go and see what we get. Well, I might just alter the gear ratios just a little bit. Okay, here we are now going back the other way. There's actually somebody coming drifting this way as well. Okay, they're probably very confused to see this absolute slab of metal coming towards them. Let's try and see if we can get out of the drift zone. There we go, it's 34,508 points. But we didn't do as well on that run. But I think this thing with a little bit of tuning and some time could be, honestly, a little bit insane. Yep, that was planned. Totally planned that. In the meantime, thank you for watching this video on the Porsche Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo. That name is really giving my brain a run for its money. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think of this thing. And as ever, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Tech out. See ya. We're not going to ask how I ended up over here.